let's just jump right into it, shall we? So we're playing some more Harrowing Trundle today. So Trundle, powerful troll champion out of Call the Mountain, 4/6 with regeneration, so he heals at the end of each round. When he's summoned, he creates an ice pillar in your hand, which is an 0/8 for 8, that when it comes into play, it refills your mana and then allows you to make things vulnerable every turn. And then he levels when he sees you play an ice pillar. His leveled mode gains Overwhelm, so he deals excess damage when blocked. And when it attacks, it gets +1 attack permanently for each 8+ cost card you behold. So either in your hand or in play. This deck that we're playing is basically looking to abuse the fact that even though you can't play a second champion out of your hand in Runeterra, so like if you have a Trundle in play and you draw another Trundle, it becomes his champion spell, Icequake in hand. That being said, with cards like Rekindler and notably our namesake, the Harrowing here, we can get multiple Trundles into play. So the basic idea is like you play Trundle, he dies, you Rekindler the Trundle back, that Trundle dies, you can Chronicler of Rune to kill your Trundle and revive it, and then when you have 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 Trundles that are dead, you can Harrowing, bring a bunch of Trundles back. All of those Trundles create ice pillars in your hand, and then if they're leveled, they attack and get a ton of attack for a big lethal swing the turn you Harrowing. The core of this deck is a little bit different than the last time we played. So in the previous builds, we had been playing Thresh as a second champion to try and pull Trundle out occasionally. This time, I'm playing only 3 champions, just Trundle. So that way we can use Entreat to consistently find our champion that our combo is based around. Because we've cut Thresh, I no longer have as many cheap units in the deck. I'm playing some copies of Flash Freeze as well as a Harsh Winds, because I think with Lee Sin being very popular in the format right now, both of these cards are very good. One thing I'm kind of thinking about now that I'm looking at this is maybe I want some Missed Calls in this deck. It's a card. Is that what it's called? Miss Call. So this revives a random dead ally that died this round. This could be another way to get decent Trundles into play. I'm gonna sneak a cheeky Missed Call in here to start. We'll see how that feels. Morning, Entreat, Logan, Erdian. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. Happy Friday. Well, we're not playing War Mother's Call, Blue Man. This is not a War Mother's control deck. We played War Mother's control last time, and it really didn't feel good. Yeah. Now this deck's looking to finish with Harrowing as opposed to finishing with War Mother. So, Noxious, Shadow Isles Elise. This is an aggressive deck. We're definitely mulliganing both Harrowings and the Missed Call. I think I'm going to keep the Entreat. I'm going to full mulligan. I think against an aggro deck like this, it's pretty important that I have a piece of ramp on 3. I'm going to mulligan for my 6 pieces of ramp. How long have I been into Runeterra? I started streaming some Runeterra probably about 4 months ago at this point. I like the core gameplay of Runeterra a lot.
Come closer.
So I could play this out, but remember in Runeterra you could bank up to 3 mana across turns. So I think I'm just going to take the hit from Elise the Spider this turn, because that will let me Catalyst of the Aeons next turn with the 5 mana that I have saved up, which means I'll be able to Trundle on turn 4. So let's go ahead and pass here.
Split her out from the darkness.
Yeah, technically Harrowing into Harrowing enables you more Trundles as well. So if the first Harrowing doesn't kill them, the second one generally will. So that heals me back 3. Gives me an extra mana crystal, so next turn I'll bank 1 plus have an extra. Well, that's unfortunate.
I have my orders.
We might just get run down here, chat.
My true
Level the least turn 4 is pretty scary. I guess I have Ruination here. I'm gonna play this as a gain 2. Camwell, thank you for the 12 months of support. Let's get you starting to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, I'm at 8, which probably means I'm dead. My opponent's deck is Noxious, so it has a lot of direct damage reaching it. Yep. And then I'm out of resources here, so there's a good chance they deploy more units at end of turn here, and then untap and get to start their turn by attacking. Alright, the good news is, if they open on attacks with this, I get to Vengeance it and stay at 5. Tavern Keeper's a really good draw here. If I don't just die this turn to burn damage, Tavern Keeper could definitely help us stabilize this game. We're going up to 8 resources next turn, which means I can Tavern Keeper plus a 5-drop. Probably Tavern Keeper into Trundle. Yep.
If they don't break, they'll burn.
Yep.
For the glory of Noxus.
I'm not dead yet.
Leave your bags in the door.
Dead to a decimate. Never not dead to decimate. Good chance we're just dead to open attacks next turn. I'm going to deploy a second blocker, but that's not going to do a whole lot.
Remember the objectives. The few for the many.
The trolls are going to war!
So, dead to open attacks here, assuming we draw nothing. That's not nothing. This is fearsome, so it can only be blocked by things with 3+ attack. Gotta play to those outs. It's unfortunate I don't have one more mana here, because if we had one more mana, we could entreat another Trundle up and then Icequake. But unfortunately, Icequake costs 8. So, not quite in range of doing that.
Take forever, why don't you?
Yeah, heckle them! Heckle the burn deck. They're gonna draw a 2-ball next turn and kill us anyways.
See the Demacian border from here.
You can see the Demacian border from here.
They look angry. Ready the torches. Let's talk about your dad.
Great, they have a lot of draws that kill us, chat.
Signal fires.
But solidly not dead yet. Innkeeper! Tavern keeper! Gonna get Doom Beast here and die. So Tavern Keeper only heals you when it comes into play. So that miscall, yeah, getting Tavern Keeper back with miscall doesn't actually heal you. What a bad beat. Yeah, me too, Trundle. You and me both. You and me both, Trundle. They had so many bad generations there. Doom Beast, and the elusive one were the two good ones. Yeah, this hand's good, right? You have to go ahead and play Sentry on 2 and this on 3 into one of these on 4. Hey, good games, Mug. Good luck on the rest of your laddering today. My deck's definitely not built with the burn deck in mind, so the fact that that was as close as it was kind of impressive. Our deck, the deck that I'm playing, is explicitly much worse against, like, that burn deck. We talked about the War Mother's variations of decks similar to this, and the War Mother's deck is, like, designed explicitly to beat that deck we were just playing against. But it's designed to play against that deck at the sake of basically being worse everywhere else. It's funny, the Mobilytics did their pass on updating their website and tier data, and they downgraded the War Mother's deck to tier from S to A tier, which doesn't surprise me. The deck was really mediocre when we played it. Early Fiora here is pretty scary. So she's an alt win con. She levels up when she's killed 2 things, and she has Challenger to make things block her. And then when her leveled mode has killed 4 things, they win the game outright.
Intruders!
On guard! Counter and strike!
Alert the village!
Okay, so I probably want to prioritize killing her now while they don't have tricks available. Tricks. They're for more than just kids, chat. They're also for Fioras. Them killing my ramp there is, like, not that big of a deal because I'm gonna get to... I'm gonna get to deploy all of these, and then I have 5 mana again next turn, so I can still play this, so... I get to use my mana for the turn at least. I think with the Harrowing draw, we want to prioritize playing Trundle here. So that way we can, like, Chronicler of Runeterra, and then Rekindler and get Harrowing set up. It's annoying, but not the end of the world. I get to go ahead and smack them for 4 here. This means I can't Chronicler the Trundle next turn, but I can Hearthguard it, and then Rekindler's going to bring back the Trundle still. Trundle has died. That's not a terrible pickup against the aggro deck.
The War Mother will unite us all.
The War Mother will unite us all.
Belong to us.
You may eat one of my things. Enjoy.
Light the signal fires.
Their pride will cost them.
Who would trespass here?
I'm just going to 7 here, because these are temporarily boosted, so this can trade with one of these next turn. Although I guess it's just going to get hooked by this, but it will trade with that when it gets hooked, so that doesn't seem like the worst.
We each die, then hug.
So depending on what our opponent does here, we could actually be getting set up to Harrowing on our next turn. Because we're at 7 mana right now, so we'll have 9 on our next turn. This can potentially blink this. Blink. It kills it and resummons it, which gives us a Trundle death for Harrowing. Yeah, I believe so, Dirty Digits. Also keep in mind that similar to Magic decks, well, Violent Gems, but by last season, do you mean pre-Leeson patch?
My shield is yours.
Because, like, those are target cards, so, like, there really isn't a last season, so to speak, for them. I don't really think the Leeson update changes that deck much. I think the Leeson update makes that deck worse because the cards people are playing to counter Leeson stuff are good against that deck. Wasn't a Trundle attack free last turn? No, not if they had a single combat or anything like that. Also, like, my deck's a deck that wins by miles, not inches usually, so, like, taking an attack to potentially lose this, generally speaking, isn't great.
Take forever, why don't you?
Yeah, it's looking like we're going to have what I talked about last turn, which is that we're going to get set up to Harrowing next turn, which sounds good. So I'll get to go block here, take 3.
Ready the torches.
Although I guess if I Harrowing next turn, yeah, maybe I think I messed this turn up. Instead of starting on Tavern Keeper, I probably should have started on Ice Pillar, because Trundle's not leveled at the moment. Am I okay with Trundle dying? I think I am. I guess I have this. If I do this and keep my Tavern Keeper alive. No, I don't want Trundle to die, because I want to do this. I want Trundle to stay alive so I can level him, right? Deny. Alright, so let's just completely savage them here then. Hey, Lycamash, thank you for the 21 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Opponent said enough. Alright. Flash Freeze. Flash Freeze is really good right now, I think. I think if you're playing Freljord, you need to be playing a bunch of Flash Freeze at the moment. Misfortune Gangplank. This team actually seems good here, right? I have Entreat for Trundle. I have cheap plays. I have a piece of spot removal. Is there a Freljord aggro deck? So, Ash Shajani from a couple of seasons ago fell off the face of the earth, but I feel like that deck's probably still pretty good.
Fuse is lit. Nothing escapes my watch.
Now, I think Ash Shajani, like, wants to play Frost Freeze anyways. Hey, Snargle Frazzle, thanks for the Prime support. You can send a donation using the Streamlabs link there. I appreciate the support. Yeah, I think people quickly, like it's not, Ash Shajani didn't get new toys, but it's still, like, plenty reasonable.
Welcome to the tipsy hour.
Welcome to the tipsy hour. Yeah, it's fine playing this out. I only get a heal for 2, but pretty okay with that. So we're 2 turns off of ruinating. If they don't open attacks here, I'm going to Chronicler.
Pray. No
I'm going to go ahead and Chronicler my Sentry here. So lets me draw a card. So obviously with Misfortune, this isn't a great blocker, but I have 2 3/3s here, so that's fine. Expecting an attack with everything but this here.
Let's talk about your dad. Ready the torches.
Or take 4 here.
Ye started without me.
That's wrong.
When we're done, I'm taking your pet.
Don't make promises you can't keep, little girl.
Yeah, that's bad. They're gonna get a decent open attacks here now.
The bones a splinter.
Going to 8 against an Noxious deck here is not a good look.
Love ya.
We'll see if they can burn us out from 8. How many units they can deploy here. I've got Vengeance next turn. So, if this happens, we'll see how many things they deploy out afterwards, or if they could just kill us outright.
I'll try anyone once.
Yeah, it's a lot.
War Mason, reporting for duty. The few for the many.
It's a decent pickup.
Who's gonna get in my way?
Oh, we're dead on board, right? Because even if I Vengeance, we die. Yeah. Hey, Starfrazzle, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. Assume that's for a deck. Morning, Quaddle, thanks for the 21 months. I don't know, part of me wants to make changes to this, but another part of me doesn't really want to knee-jerk make changes because we lost a bunch of games to some aggro decks. Like, we make changes to be good against the aggro decks, we're going to queue into some other things. Maybe Hearthguard's just not very good. I mean, I didn't really have another play there, Mapai. So, like, sure, that turn wasn't good, but, like, what was the other play? Put in a couple of Grasp, I guess. I think Avalanche should be included. That's a really peak Twitch chat comment. You're going to put Avalanche in my deck, and then I'm going to queue into a bunch of Lee Sin and other control decks, and it's going to be bad. Okay. I think I'd rather play things like Grasp of the Undying that are better against their burn, or like more deal ones, or like another Tavern Keeper. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to a third Tavern Keeper and I'll put a couple Grasps in over the Hearthguards. Avalanche. Avalanche is like a 2 or a 10 card. When it's good, it's great. When it's bad, it's terrible. Tiago, thanks for the 16 months. I appreciate it. Peek to chat means like, so like, and to use Magic as an example, it's like in Magic when you land screw, people are like, oh, you should add a land, and then when you flood out, they're like, oh, you should cut a land. So like running into the aggressive deck twice in a row and being like, okay, let's put some narrow cards in my deck that are only good against that. It's like, see, look, now I'm playing against the deep, right? So Avalanche, pretty bad in matchups like this. You keep one Grinding Stones. I'm gonna mulligan the rest of these, I think. I'm supposed to keep the Entreat because it guarantees a Trundle. Yeah, we'll do that. I mean, you're saying Grasp is bad against Pirates because of Fervor. You're right that it's not stellar against Fervor, but it's like really good at killing their various X3s like Misfortune that are very important to be able to kill. They also, like, don't always have the card that blows you out, believe it or not. Ooh, the Deep with Stalking Shadows. I think that's really sweet. We have Harrowing lined up here. Vengeance is pretty good in this matchup. I agree, Mapai. And part of that too is like things are still new. Like as the format matures, you'll see more people go back to playing these things, right? Like remember, we're still like barely a month out from a bunch of new cards getting introduced. So, like, people are still definitely, like, focusing on novel things as opposed to being strictly optimal. I think, especially, like, with the Lee Sin patch, for example, I think Targon as a region is pretty heavily overrepresented in proportion to its power level. I think we'll see its play rate go down a little bit once we get further away from that. Thanks, opponent. I appreciate you. Actually, so do I Rekindler here? I'd actually rather play this Trundle out first, right? Because then this Rekindler summons a second Trundle. And I can, in fact, I can play Ice Pillar out first, then have two leveled Trundles. Yeah, I agree with that, Blake. Some amount of competitive play will definitely push people.
Danger, pain.
Will definitely push people towards innovating more.
Going harvesting.
I think that's fine.
Return to us. Get the trash! Eat the trash!
So next turn, I get to play another Rekindler, summon another Trundle, and then get into combat. Nah, we're not playing Atrocity. We play Harrowing as our go over the top card. If Harrowing's not killing them.
smack'll do.
One smack'll do.
Do you hear the call?
Bad! You bad! No, no, no!
So, Nautilus makes their monsters cheaper.
Fell into him!
Pull them under.
Why hook the 4-3 instead of Nautilus? Well, Nautilus wasn't vulnerable, so that seemed like a good reason to not make the illegal play. I think I'm supposed to just harsh winds here, so I don't die to Atrocity. You should play in paper, it's much easier to make plays like that. You're not wrong.
What will you have?
Why don't you put Trundle under Isochron Scepter?
Feeding time. You will feast soon enough. I'll knock 'em dead. Sugar in your boots.
Yeah, my kids are pretty into, my 5 and 6-year-old are both into watching Yu-Gi-Oh! So I got them, I had someone send me a bunch of bulk Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards for free when I mentioned it on stream. And like, we were gonna try and teach them how to play the actual game, but like, real Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards basically have the entire encyclopedia written on them. So it seemed like a less than easy thing to do.
Sickle. Sugar in your boots. One smack'll do.
Morning, Rank Tangy. I say you were in fact watching when you were working. Yeah, I'm glad to hear people like the schedule. My questions about the schedule will be on the sub-survey next month. So I plan to... I mentioned on the last one I plan to start doing my sub-survey monthly, since I'm trying different things and the world is what it is right now. So, if you like the new split schedule, dislike it, be sure to give me feedback on that on the survey next month. Probably the Switch game. Oh, I didn't realize there's a Switch game. I know there's a game. Is the Switch game different than the version on Android and iOS? They played the version on the phone for a little bit, but they're not super into playing games on the phone. But they play a lot of Switch games. Yeah, single player is all they need. Swain Twisted Fate. Honestly, this hand sounds great against Swain Twisted Fate. I'm gonna mulligan the Tavern Keeper. We'll play this on 3. We'll play Trundle on 4. Duel Masters. You know, I remember hearing about that as a game, and then nothing. I don't think I've ever actually seen the cards for it. There's what was I gonna say? There is a the Digimon card game just had a reboot that's supposed to be coming to America early next year, like January, February. And I looked up how to play for that, and it looks like it's pretty reasonable. That might be the kids' first card game with me in paper. Skyweaver. Is Skyweaver one of the 4 or 5 different, we're building a card game based on Bitcoin and you really own your cards, you can trade them type nonsense? Or am I misremembering? Yes, Declan.
In their tracks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up the Yu-Gi-Oh card game for the Switch. Hey, you need to play nice, bud. You can watch a show upstairs in your train room or on your phone.
The few for the many.
The phone version is a trunked version of the card game that's a gotcha nightmare. Okay, that's sweet. Yeah, the phone version definitely felt like a gotcha style game as someone who's played a lot. We actually haven't queued into Lee Sin yet today. I've got a bunch of Frostbites in here to help fight the Lee Sin decks, but we've not played against it so far.
I'll buy us some time.
They look angry.
There's a lot of Bilgewater so far today. You two need to get along.
No, James doesn't do it. I'm not doing anything to it. I just keep taking back the milk because he keeps turning off it.
Okay, hold on. I gotta go sort children into different floors of my house. Alright, well, if we ever find a Harrowing, it's gonna bring a lot of trolls back. Cheeky miscall reporting for duty indeed. Switch games like Magic Duels, but a lot better. Yeah, it makes sense. I'll have to pick that up. So, we're gonna Ice Pillar again here so we can grab the Twisted Fate inside of combat this turn.
Return to us.
One smack'll do, chat. One smack'll do.
Whoops! Did I break something?
Nah, a single-player game on the Switch sounds perfect for what my children would like to do. My kids are 5 and 6. They don't need anything competitive. Diana Vi. So this archetype tends to be aggressive. I'm gonna mulligan these two, looking for a piece of ramp. I'm gonna keep the Sentry and keep a virtual Trundle. Yeah, basically Harbinger. Deck's looking to abuse the fact that you can get multiple of the same champion into play, because multiple Trundles play well together since they all summon Ice Pillars to power each other up. Wonder if that was a misclick or if they intended to play a 2-3 out there. Not that I'm aware of, Violet Journey. And again, like, because Runeterra doesn't have big competitive tournaments at the moment for people to net deck from, a lot of the metagame is established by, like, what Swim, Mogwai, and BBG end up playing, as well as, like, what's posted on Mobalytics. Those are really the three things that dictate, like, what people end up playing in this game, in my experience so far.
I can see the Nebastian border from here.
I think I'm okay with them eating this in combat.
I will be heard.
Gets to cantrip. It's not a terrible pickup.
What will you have?
I could set up to Ruination next turn, but that's kind of slow, so... Sure. So they're gonna play a gem here, right? Otherwise they're gonna lose their draw step. I think, especially with Harrowing in my hand, before I Ruination, I want to Entreat Trundle. So that way I can get that going towards my Harrowing. How's this one feeling? It's right. We had some close luck games that ended up being losses against aggro, but we made some adjustments. And I think made us a little bit better there. The Sentry was Guiding Touch there. Pay 2, gain 2, draw a card. Yeah, for sure. Easy pass. Now, the question is, do they open on attacks here, or do they play anything else out? They might just, like, gem up Vi, attack, and kill this. If they don't open on attacks, what am I doing? Probably doing Chronicler to blink this to get more Trundles going for Harrowing. Unfortunately, I don't have Mana to Ruination this turn. Probably want to get set up to Ruination next turn, though.
Take forever, why don't you?
I've carved meat bigger than you.
That's how we do it.
I suppose I could just entreat another Trundle here, and then I have Ice Pillars to play out next turn. I think I like that. It means I can't Ruination till their next turn, but I think I'm okay with that. We probably want to try and set up a situation where we play some stuff out next turn, and then on their turn we Ruination, and then on our next turn, so 3 turns from now, we Harrowing. Tavern Keeper and stuff will hopefully be able to survive. Flash Freeze is a great draw against 5.
Kingdom now.
Hey, Cardu. Yeah, Runeterra is easily the best card game, video game out there. Like, core rules and stuff like that aside, I think the video game aspect of what this game does is just better than anything else out there.
One smack will do.
So again, he summons another Ice Pillar when we resummon him there. So this is currently getting plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attack when we go with it. So it's going to attack for 10 here. We'll see what they do. If they pass back again here, I might just end the turn and burn their mana. Feel like I'm pretty incentivized to do that.
You gotta leave the city.
I'll knock 'em dead.
Just gonna trade these here.
Get ready for a beatdown.
So this draws cards when they target it. So all of these gems now can trip for them. But I also like don't think that's that big of a deal because we're getting set up to combo kill them with the Harrowing in a turn.
These gems grant a wearer harmony.
Discover the unknown. Discover the unknown. Discover the unknown.
Diana's pretty far from leveling here.
Our light grows brighter.
Discover the unknown.
These are all burst spells that they've played, so they can still attack. So normally when a player plays a card in Runeterra, priorities pass to the other player, except when burst spells are played, burst spells retain priority and don't create a stack in the middle. Pretty sure we just Ruination here.
Discover the unknown.
So this will break the spell shield, and then Ruination will destroy it. And then next turn, we're going to have a really good Harrowing. Yeah, Spell Shield protects just this champion from Ruination. Really, really love the design of Spell Shield. Feels like non-broken hexproof.
Discover the unknown.
This is also a good example, people hanging out, not familiar with Runeterra coming from Magic. My opponent had another Bastion there, but the way the Runeterra stack works, you cannot respond in between things on the Runeterra stack. So they couldn't let Vile Feast resolve, break their Spell Shield, and then Spell Shield their big thing again. Once you click OK, the stack resolves, the entire stack happens. It's different from Magic, but keeps the games flowing a lot quicker. So you can see here, Harrowing summons the 6 strongest dead allies this game. This shows me I'm going to get 3 Trundles, a Chronicler, an Innkeeper, and a Sentry, so that sounds great. These Trundles are going to summon me a bunch of Ice Pillars in my hand, which means they're all going to attack for 10. See those? And you can see when I mouse over the eye, finding out what's going to happen, it even shows the 3 extra Ice Pillars getting generated down here. And then my opponent's playing Targon Piltover, so they could have like Hush here to not die to the Trundles. Yeah, it's only 3 Trundles. But I think that's probably lethal. So I'm gonna try and ship it. So these are ephemeral, which means they die at end of turn or when they attack or when they deal damage. So basically like a one-shot try and get you. This is like the combo finish that our deck's trying to set up to play. We're playing a combo control deck.
You spurn my gift.
If they have Hush here, they could maybe hush us out of it to wipe the bonuses off. But yeah, these have Overwhelm when they're level 2, so this is like 30 power with Overwhelm. Yep, and there's a Hush, so they're still dead? Still dead? Sounds good. As you will. I think Trundle has some of my favorite heckling voice lines. Well, Hush only gets rid of the ephemeral till end of turn, right? So even if they would have survived there, the Trundle still would have gone away on their next turn. Alright, so opponent's playing Trundle, Oriental, Sejani. So I imagine there's something more controlling here as well. Gosh, honestly, I think I keep Harrowing in the opener against a control deck. I'm gonna keep Vengeance here too, because it's 1-for-1 some of their bigger units. Wow, that's perfect. Love it. These are our pieces of acceleration that we can play on 3. So again, this costs 5, but we can bank mana across turns here. So if you don't use mana, it gets saved. So even though this has a 5 in the corner, we can play this on turn 3 if we don't make plays on a play on turn 2. Opponent also accelerating. Opponent doing something similar to us, but they're Targon as their second color instead of Shadow Isle, so they don't have a combo finish.
They're out there. I'll spot them.
I'll spot
To
them.
your king.
This draws a card when it dies, so free chump here. Trundle regenerates, so it doesn't mind taking the 2 damage in this instance. So, we're looking for Trundles of our own at this point, he says, as he draws an Entreat.
The trolls are
Going to war! Milla TK with the 56-month resub. That is an absurd duration. Thank you for the support and welcome back.
And here's where I'd paint my constellation.
The trolls are going to war! Ready when you are. Always ready.
So they made their Ice Pillar cheaper so they can level their Trundle this turn.
It's good to be the king.
Sticking it through for the long haul. God bless. I don't know that we're ever going to get back to Artifact on this channel, though.
I'm gonna make a U-sickle. You're in my kingdom now.
I can't wait for that big tournament. Right?
Bow to your king.
Now we hunt.
Beg forever, why don't you? One smack'll do.
I have a lot of permutations with how this turn could go. The question is, do I want to get set up to Ruination? I don't think so. I think I just want to Vengeance this.
But I'm king.
The one thing Artifact really taught me was which people in the card game community I should listen to their opinions on card games with. It was definitely a good learning experience for that.
Smashing.
I want to kill their Ice Pillar, actually.
This is gonna be fun.
This'll take the chill off.
I mean, I disagree with Swim on things like Hush, for example. But especially in range of, like, more subjective things, like it took a really certain type of person to enjoy Artifact's gameplay.
This way.
Ooh, that's new.
Think I just do this. I'm gonna be a little sad when they play Oriensol, though.
Your favorite star. I created it.
So I think the plan is to try and Harrowing twice. Yeah, this is it. Isn't pretty here, really.
I want to play Minecraft Dungeon, but I have to take over your profile.
Yeah, you can use my profile. Just make sure you don't play my character, okay? Just make sure you pick your character. You still pick my profile. You just choose your guy, okay? Do you need help setting it up? All right, hold on, chat. I gotta help Jules real quick.
May all those who journey find what they seek.
Played a 3-4. All right.
Bow to your king. Come on, come on. This is gonna be fun.
This is only going to 8. I guess I technically shouldn't attack with these, right? Because I gave this a free... Let's give this a free extra thing.
Get ready for a beatdown.
Thanks for the 15 months, Hamlet. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Do they have a 6 mana thing with 7 power? Probably not. Yeah, this is a decent hit for sure. Alright, so they do. Got it. Oh, it's only 6 mana, sure. Wait, did I just miscount? Oh, it gets bigger. I'm dumb. I forgot this gets bigger. I saw the 6 and just went on autopilot. So we're probably dead then. Thanks for the 15 months, Kane. Welcome back.
Let's talk about your attack.
We each died, then found home.
We'll see if this is able to punch through next turn or not.
The Targaryens can't play their games. Who's a good boy?
So I have 13 total mana here. So I can Chronicler and Harrowing.
One smack'll do.
So if they drew another Orion Soul, we're just dead because we can't beat Orion Soul's champion spell. Yeah, Standard got dropped from the stream until after they update the ban list on Monday, because they lame ducked the format like they always do. So this is my I can't beat this card going long. My out to winning here is hoping they don't have Orion Soul's champion spell, so if they got it, we're dead. Which means they have it, of course.
Pure
So pretty sure that plays correct. That's our only out to do it. Didn't know they did it again. Yeah, of course they did. Wizards, their timing on things is less than great. Pretty sure we full mulligan here against the burn deck, looking for our cheap cards that heal.
No one's the wiser. This'll shake 'em.
I agree, Quaddle. Big agree. Could not agree more. Alright, we have heal 12 in hand.
Explosives prime.
This start with them on the play means heal 12 might not be enough.
They'll never see it coming. Seven.
we're just deploying the heal 3 here. This'll let me bank a second spell mana, so then next turn I can grasp plus sentry.
For the Empire. For the glory of Noxus.
I need help. Definitely need help.
This'll shake 'em.
You guys need to figure it out today if you're going to be playing together, okay?
Let's talk about your tab.
You don't know. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to get into a level, or are you having trouble in the level?
So young.
Did I throw my children?
See the Demacian border from here.
Hey, I can help you one more time. You can't be coming in enough. Need your inventory, just build characters, level up. Normally we play Minecraft Dungeons as a family. They're attempting to play it on their own, and neither of them fully read yet, so Decimate knocking us to 10. Yep. We have Frostbite and a gain 3 here, so maybe not just out of this. Chirp. They don't read just like us. See, they are very similar to Twitch chat.
Do they need to play something else so you don't have to keep on?
No, they're fine. Just make sure they actually got into a level and are playing level. How do I know if a kid is ready for that game? If they have okay motor skills on the controller hippity, you could probably play with them. Like, I can largely drag them along behind me on most levels. So like, I think we're at the final boss on the normal difficulty together as a family. We've reached the Arch Illager. We've been unable to defeat that boss as a family as of yet, but I imagine we'll do it at some point. It's not like jump scares or complicated choices. No, I would describe Minecraft Dungeons as kind of simplified Diablo 2 with a more kid-friendly IP. So like, if the kid is okay with the Minecraft IP in general, with like zombies from Minecraft, they'll be okay with Minecraft Dungeons. I think would be the best way I would describe it.
Nothing's tougher than a troll.
Alright, so you can put these over here. This trades here, this trades here. We're going to 6.
Light the signal fires. Alert the village.
I hate Minecraft. Minecraft Dungeons has nothing to do with actual Minecraft. I'm not a huge fan of actual Minecraft either, Beansy, but Minecraft Dungeons is basically like a Diablo 2 light type game. It's a hack and slash dungeon game essentially. I should really set up my capture card and stream a little bit of it at some point. Do a variety segment with the boys. It's a good couch surf game for sure.
I'll knock 'em dead. One smack'll do.
Morning, Cruel. Life is swell. We're at 5. They've played, is that the second Decimate? Yikes, I assume we're dead here. Hopefully we draw another card that heals us. There unfortunately is not Dr. 11. It's the part where they find the second Drain Beast. Yeah, it's a Diablo type game with the Minecraft skin. It's super accurate. If they don't kill us this turn,
No one's the wiser.
we're gonna get them. So that's a deal 1. So they only need 2 damage left after that, which is scary. God, do I Ruination here? Do I Ruination to gain 1? Is that crazy? What does Ruination to gain 1 play around? It plays around Doom Beast, right? It plays around Doom Beast and it plays around other deal 2s. It's worse if they have 2 units, though. I have a flash freeze.
Explosives primed.
No, they played a non-ephemeral one, so now they have this. So, I don't know. There's permutations that we die to here regardless. Yeah. So. Maybe I'm supposed to not play around burn. I'm supposed to play around them just having more units. Very possible there. Definitely pretty big wrong half problem there. Our deck, it feels like it's tough for these control decks to have a good matchup against the burn decks while also having a good matchup against other things. Like, the War Mother's Call deck up on Mobalytics is very good against these burn decks, but it's awful against most other things where your deal ones aren't good. But, like, our deck, where we're trying to shy away from more of those types of things, this is a control deck usually, right? I'm gonna keep a Harrowing. Yeah, it's more matchup variance than explicit weakness, Toriel. So like, you're basically choosing where you want your matchup variance to be. Do you want to have matchup variance against the aggro deck, or do you want to matchup variance against everything else? Which I've elected for the aggro matchup to be mediocre.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
I'm gonna play this out as a 3/3 for 3. Pretty sure this is a controlling deck the opponent's playing. Oh, I should attack there, right? It's a free 3 ball. Alright.
Like this?
Oh. Oh. That was not what I was expecting. Color me intrigued. Maybe I should wait on that, because they're going to attack with this. Yeah, I probably should have waited. I missed a game 3 there. Really surprised they didn't do that pre-combat and get another hit for 3. These are troll lands, also known as Twitch, an Amazon subsidiary.
Another day in paradise. The Isles will bloom again. Still fighting in our clan.
Yes, Trundle spell. Trundle spell should hopefully be reasonable. Morning Griffithson. Always. Yeah, this gets us Trundle, which is an Ice Quake that deals 3.
Come on, come on!
Am I just Vengeancing this? I think I might just be Vengeancing this. Might also be right just get rid of Maokai, though. Maokai. Maokai makes 1-drop, so Von Yip's gonna make them bigger.
What's that noise?
Yeah, we're kind of gonna get run down here. Oh, I guess with that play I just made, I actually don't have enough mana. I'm only gonna have 9 mana next turn with the spell bank, right? Oh, that's the wrong. God, we're just super sloppy. Just clicking and talking at the same time. Obviously should have blocked one that didn't make another 3/3. So I don't. I also don't. Talking about making one mistake and made another. Obviously don't have.
Kingdom now.
I don't have mana to get Icequake and play it here, unfortunately.
I'll knock 'em dead. Get ready for a beatdown. The forest's vengeance.
Yep. So now this does set us up okay, because I'm gonna get to Flash Freeze plus Icequake this turn. So we're not gonna die in combat.
Very risky indeed.
You got a problem? They look angry.
I think I want to play around Atrocity, right? No, you're right. I missed 2 points of damage by not entreating pre-combat. This would be a 9/7. I made like 6 different mistakes this game. I think it's difficult. It's difficult to point out which one was the one that cost us if we lose, because I made a lot of them.
Mega avalanche. From death.
This not having 2 extra attack could also end up costing us. If you make enough mistakes, Twitch chat can't tell you why you lost. That's true.
One candle for
Oh my god, Trundle hadn't died yet. What a just a fucking embarrassing disaster. Alright, I'm gonna try one more. We're gonna try one more and try to end on a high note. Just total dumpster fire trash heap of a game from start to finish. By the way, someone just tweeted this at me, and it looks like a real website. It looks like the actual UK government. Someone correct me if gov.uk is not the real UK government website, but apparently the UK government is looking for feedback on loot boxes in video games. So you should definitely go give feedback on those. Let's get predatory practices out of gaming. That is a legit website. God bless.
No one's the wiser. Inquisition behind ya.
I'm gonna play this as a game too, I think. Am I? No, I need to save that mana for Grassblader.
Leave your bags in the door.
At the very least, if loot boxes aren't going to get banned, they should probably, all games that involve loot boxes should be 18 plus. That should probably be the minimum.
I've carved meat bigger than you.
So like, this is again, and maybe I should change our deck because we've run into a lot of spider burn so far today, but like, imagine this Grasp of the Unyielding had been a whale this game. Like, just the amount of difference these games would have if that was a deal 1 to everything as opposed to a deal 3. Just be kinda night and day different.
Nice to meet you.
Like, there's a lot of things to like about Runeterra in terms of gameplay, but I really just cannot overstate how nice it is how the game is structured in terms of the economic model that it uses. Just so much more consumer friendly.
No one's the
I was invited to play in the tournament today, but I ended up deciding not to play. Their deck construction rules, their deck submission rules were pretty restrictive, and I couldn't find a third deck I liked. And I'm pretty casual. I try to play games mostly for fun, so if I don't have a deck that I enjoy playing, generally speaking, I'll just skip tournaments rather than play something I don't like. Again, imagine if this was a deal 1 to everything. So should probably swap that if you're going to play this deck. This is going to be our last game. We're going to get blown out by the... Well, at least it's not the deal 3 to our face.
Damn it.
I think we easily win this game if these grasps had been whales. Yeah, I don't know. These Shadow Isle controlling decks have really just not felt good to me in the recent times that we've played. Really, really awkward wrong half problems. Yeah, I mean, I've played a ton of decks total, Andy, but there's probably 4 or 5 decks. Like, I think there's 5 decks up on my website that I all really like. The problem is I couldn't submit 3 of the decks that I like because of how restrictive their card choices were for the event.
Come on!
Yeah, or just super dead again.
Kings can't lose.
So, I feel like today, to give some highlighting, I'm also not a huge fan of the Lee Sin change they did recently. So, this deck's a good example of what I mean by wrong half problem is that, like, to give a specific example, Flash Freeze is a card that I feel like I'm pretty obligated to play in a world where the Lee Sin deck is good, because the Lee Sin deck is so powerful, you need kind of narrow specific answers to it. The problem is that with a deck like this, cards like Harsh Winds and Flash Freeze, they're just god-awful against these Spider and Pirate Burn decks, right? And like, we just played against a bunch of Spider and Pirate Burn on the set today, and like, our answers didn't line up well. Whereas like last time when we played War Mother's Call Trundle, we had a bunch of good answers to Spider and Pirate Burn and a bunch of deal ones, and then we didn't queue into any of those. So I don't know that I'm a fan of these style of decks in general, especially with how varied the format is right now. I feel like with different kind of proactive strategies requiring specific answers, this really didn't feel... I feel like I'm always gonna not be competitive against something, basically. Which actually kind of brings me back to, I kind of hope they implement some type of the 3-deck system as a ladder option at some point. Being able to play a variety of decks and just like ban off the thing that you don't... Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the formats, Lost Axiom. So prior to the Lee Sin patch, I didn't feel like the control decks had huge problems like this in Runeterra, but as the types of things, as the range of gameplay strategies differ, I agree that this style of deck with the range of decks that are competitive right now, like the last couple of sets with these Freljord Shadow Isles decks, this is the first time I've really felt like, oh, I wish I had a sideboard in Runeterra. I wish against these burn decks I could cut these flash freezes and these harsh winds and board in some deal 1 gain 3s, and I wish against Lee Sin I could have less deal 1s and more frostbites. Is definitely the case. So I think this deck is reasonable. We had some good games in there. I just feel like you have to, yeah, and that's the other thing too. And honestly, I don't even know if it's inherently a bad thing that decks like what we're playing struggle to be good, because I agree, like the Lux Ash control deck that's up on my website, that deck's really good in the format right now because it plays to the board. So like, if controlling decks like this that largely don't play to the board aren't stellar, you know, I don't almost consider that a feature rather than a bug in some ways. Because like, speaking as someone who's like side heavily as my opponent plays Hallowed Fountain on turn 1 for a number of years in Magic, like those types of decks being super competitive tend to be really dry, right? How many cards should be in a Runeterra sideboard? I don't know. Probably like somewhere between like 7 and 9. So yeah, I don't, that's the other thing too, like, I think this type of deck is going to always struggle with some type of matchup without a sideboard, but I also, in the grand scheme of things, don't know that that's inherently a bad thing. Yeah, and like, there's a number, I think the comment above that control always has that problem, I think that's actually not true. I think that this type of control deck in this game has that problem because of the type of gameplay it's playing, but there are a number of control decks like Swain Twisted Fate and Lux Ash that are control decks that more play to the board that don't have that issue. I want a Runeterra sideboarding mechanic where you get a 6-card sideboard, you see opposing champions, and you pick some of your sideboard cards to add before the game start. No multiple games, still sideboarding. That's actually a really sweet idea, Hippity. That would actually be a really sweet ladder format, I think. Because it doesn't require multiple decks, but you still get player agency. Yeah, I like that a lot. One of the things I love about Runeterra is that little bit of information that you get seeing their regions and their champions. So yeah, getting to see regions champions at game start and going, okay, sideboard from your board, play 1 game on the ladder, that actually sounds like a really positive play experience. Yeah, I mean, this Yeah, exactly. All right. At any rate, that's going to wrap our Runeterra segment for the morning. For people that are new to the channel, I do at least one Runeterra deck every single day. This week, I'm doing them at the start of my morning slots. I'm going to shift gears. I'm going to be playing some Historic on Magic Arena. That's Magic Arena's non-rotating format for the rest of the stream this morning. I'll be back with more Legends of Runeterra tomorrow morning if you're just here for that. If you're someone new and you like different Runeterra constructed decks, be sure to check out my YouTube channel and my website. Lots of great stuff up in both of those places there. Usually play a different Runeterra constructed deck every single day.